Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production.
Roll sound.
Rolling.
Sound production. Take 2.
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? Now, we're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Or, your father was right. You were an idiot, and everything you watched was stupid. So buckle up, movie aficionados. Over-the-top gore? Check. Over-embellished action? Check. Gratuitous nudity? Double check. Storylines so absurd you could drive a semi-truck through those plot holes. Oh yeah, some of those movies didn't even know what a movie plot was. And that's the way we liked it. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
Yay!
Woo!
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Jeez, Saturday edition. I'm off. I'm so off.
It's okay, because as soon as you said, welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie, and then you just kind of stopped, I was like, I don't know what the next word is either.
No. And I was sitting there going, I honestly was just sitting there because I did a bunch of stuff, and then I'm like, supposed to be doing something. Like, oh yeah, the podcast.
It's been one of those weeks, man. It's been one of those weeks where nothing makes sense, and I have no idea what day it is, and time is really just an abstract concept. Like, I looked at the time and I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
podcast is supposed to start soon.
Yeah, I got everything done. I'm going, all right, what else do I have to do? I'll have to get Ann on here. So I did
Right.
that.
Well, it was funny because I was waiting and I was like, it's 6:58. He still hasn't sent me.
Yeah, usually it's at least a few minutes before.
Usually at like 6:56, you're like, here's the link. And I'm like, well, that feels super early, but okay. And today I was like, right at 7:00. That's when you sent it. And I was like, oh, okay, good. We're still doing this. I didn't confuse everything in my head. This is exciting.
All right. So we are now in 1984. I know it's a long time ago. They're talking like to talk to people about 1980 now is like talking to people in 1980 about like the 1940s. Like
You don't have to say it like
I know,
that,
and it's
okay?
ridiculous. But 1984 is arguably not just one of the best years in the 80s for movies. I still go back and forth between 84 and 85. All the years were great and had great movies, but 84 and 85 especially, and maybe one of the greatest years of just different genres of movies.
Mm.
And we are talking about Streets of Fire, definitely one that hit a different genre or ahead of its time. Actually, if it was made today, it still might be ahead of its time.
Here's the thing though, I don't know what time it is in this movie.
No, not a clue.
It's funny because I mentioned to my niece that we were doing this movie for the podcast, and I was like, yeah, I've never seen it before, and she was like, oh my god, it's the greatest movie ever. And I was like, really? She's like, I love it so much. She's like, it's terrible, but I love it. And I was like, thanks.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna like it.
Again, I was really worried after we watched the trailer.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't hate the movie.
No.
And I will, as we go along, I will argue that this is a perfect movie. And
Interesting.
And it also, actually, we got a couple comments, and one of the comments was, so it hits that line of so bad it's good type thing. But yeah, it's not like, yeah, it's a different type of movie. But let's talk about this movie.
Yeah, this movie was a lot in my brain.
It was not what I remembered, I'll tell you that. There were pieces of it that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Yes, I remember that.
You want to hear the most hilarious thing? As I'm watching it, I'm like, this movie feels very familiar. I feel
You
like
probably
I've seen
caught
this
it when you were
movie,
very young.
but I was like, I cannot. But it was almost like my brain put up a wall and was like, you do not remember this. It refused. But I was like, no, that line sounds so familiar. That scene, what? There's a lot. My brain was like working overtime for this movie.
It was awesome. Oops, let's get you another. All right. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, let's talk about the poster first, since I already did it. An amazing poster.
It is a
What
great
a
poster.
fantastic poster. And
Yeah.
right under there, tonight is what is oh, it's so small to me here. Hold on. There we go. Tonight's what it means to be young.
Yes.
And it's just this drawn
Mhm.
not abstract.
No, but if you remember from the 80s, it's almost like a comic book feel to the
Yes.
drawing of it. Very kind of dark. It definitely has a very like edgy aesthetic to it.
And actually the director, I read a little bit, that's what he wanted. He wanted to make a comic book movie. He didn't like comic books and he wanted to do something comic booky but original and his own.
Yeah.
Yeah, and underneath it says Streets of Fire, a rock and roll fable. It's a great poster. It is a fantastic poster. Another one that the DVD release for years after that was this. This you had such a great poster.
I know.
Why would you Michael Pare and Diane Lane, and then the new Shout Factory did a special edition with hours and hours of extra footage and music and all that stuff, and they brought out the Blu-ray and the 4K, and that's
actually not bad.
That's not a bad that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And before we get into the movie and all that, I will say this: Willem Dafoe is so amazing. He might be not just one of the greatest character actors of all time, but he might be one of the greatest actors. And at this young age, because I think a few things before this, you could tell he was. Producers and people that saw the movie must have been like, "This guy's awesome."
He is literally one of the greatest actors of our time, if not in the industry period, like from the beginning of the industry, from silent film to now.
Yeah.
That man can convince you of anything.
And he does play a lot of weirdos and villains, and
he
plays them so well. But he could play anything you want him to do, he could do. Like when he plays the gay detective on Boondock Saints, and he's a homophobe, it is awesome. Like he makes every character his own and so original and cool. I don't love everyone. I've seen some of his movies, like what the fuck was that?
No,
but he's always good in it. Like he always brings it.
Well, and that's the really great thing about, I think, Willem Dafoe. I think he literally has, I think his agent brings him stuff and they're like, this will make you lots of money or this will solidify you as a movie star. And he's like, but I read this really weird script. Can we do that one?
I like to do
and
that.
And they're like, can't you just, but every once in a while he does something that you're like, oh, thank you for doing something mean. I'm sure his agents are like, thank you for doing thank you for being the Green Goblin. Yeah, thank you. We appreciate that. And he's like,
every now and again.
Then there's this freaky little indie film I want to do.
And then he played Count Olaf in the Shadows movie. I can't remember. That is almost impossible to find on. I don't think it's on any streaming service. It's a 90s movie where it's about the filming of Nosferatu, and Willem Dafoe plays Count Olaf, and he's actually a real vampire, and they use a real vampire as the actor, and everything goes ape shit. I think John Malkovich is in it as well.
Who also is so fucking fantastic.
Yeah, another great actor. But yeah, the posters are great. What do you think the budget was?
I feel like this was actually a pretty big budget.
Yeah,
I feel like this was very big, especially for 1984, because the amount of extras in this.
The amount 500.
Yeah, like
constantly.
I was like, holy shit, they're filling up this set with people.
And it was all set. Everything was set. Well, not the subways. But,
but everything was a soundstage.
Yeah.
Like everything. So I was like, dude, this must have gotten so expensive. Because here's the thing. A lot of times with extras, you can kind of group direct them. So you could be like, hey, guys, just walk through, kind of talk, whatever. And they
change
might
the guy's shirt.
Yeah, they might
dress.
Pick a couple actors and be like, okay, you're going to walk in front of the leads. Like, this is one. And that's it. These people were doing choreographed dances. There were fights. I was like, holy shit, this must have been expensive.
The amount of bikes that are going through the street during the
cars
and the
And that also confused me with the timeline because I was like, oh, it takes place in the 50s. But then I saw Diane Lane and I was like, or the 80s? Okay, the 50s were very popular in the 80s. But then you hear the way they talk and I was like, oh, I guess it is the 50s. Like it's supposed to take place in the 50s, and then you get later on in the movie, and then you're like, no, this is definitely 80s.
Well, actually, the budget was $14.5 million.
Holy shit!
14 for 1984, and he
That's
basically
nuts.
got it because he just finished 48 Hours, which was a monster hit.
Mhm.
And our director, when I say he wanted to make a comic book movie, he gave a list of all the things he wanted to put in it, and it was from his teenage
Yeah.
fantasy, and it was motorcycle gangs and rock and roll and neon lights and big city car chases, and everything he wanted in a comic book as a kid, he put in this movie.
Oh boy, did he ever.
And almost 15 million for a movie in 1984 that doesn't
That's a
have any
lot.
huge names and doesn't have that was so he got to do
You
whatever he
would see
wanted.
it for something if they had a lot of, pyrotechnics, or like there was some flamage.
Yeah, a lot of
There was
bikes
some,
exploded.
yeah,
That was
in
awesome.
one scene.
I don't think
But I
they
was
do
like,
that, but
now that you say 14.5, I'm like, that's a lot for.
yeah.
And I have a feeling most of it went to sets.
Well, the one set they built some sort of giant tarp because they built the battery, the main town,
Mhm.
everything, and they put on it cost $1.2 million to protect it so they could do rain when they wanted to and stuff
Yeah.
like that. They didn't account for wind apparently, and had some problems. But let's take a look at how do we think it did on the I don't think it did well.
I think it did shit.
I think it was
it
kind
really
of
did shit.
a very different movie for its time. And I don't think a lot of people got it. Like even here, Box Office Mojo is calling it an action, crime, drama, music, romance thriller.
Because that's what it is.
Pretty
All
good. It
rolled
is.
up
Yeah, it is.
at the same time.
So it made just over 8 million.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it did lose some money, but hopefully through movies and DVDs, eventually
must
after a
have.
few years, it made its money back. It opened up June 1st. At number 5 behind Star Trek 3, which just opened, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, The Natural, Break-In, but it
Mm.
did beat Once Upon a Time in America and Romancing the Stone. Well, I mean, it beat them. Romancing the Stone was in its 10th week.
I was going
Police
to say.
Academy was in its 11th week. 16 Candles within its 5th, and Footloose and Splash 16 and 13th week.
Holy
So,
crap.
it's a lot of good movies there. Like a lot of good.
I think it might have done better if it didn't have such stiff competition.
Yeah, maybe they should have saved it for like January when there was nothing being. So, but 8 million, yeah. So it didn't do well.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What do we think of? What do we think of the reviews? I'm gonna share this.
I feel like this is now a cult favorite. So I
Yes.
think reviews at the time would not have been favorable. I think now people appreciate the weird a lot more. And this movie is weird.
Very weird.
So weird. So I
Scared
think
the shit at me when Ed Begley Jr. jumped out of the shadows.
oh my
there.
God. When I was like, is that young Ed Begley Jr.? Oh.
That's surprising. 31 reviews, comes in at 71%. 5,000 viewer ratings, comes in at 70%. So that's whoever most people that watched it liked it.
Yeah.
To some degree. All right, I will. I don't know what I did last week. I'll do. What do you?
I think
I
did the. Did I do the good ones or did I? No, I did the shit ones.
Okay, so
And there
I'll
weren't
do the
that
shit
many
ones. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So I'll do the shit ones. You can start with the good ones.
Okay. So Walter Hill directs the hell out of this, and there are more people in the cast who understand the assignment than do not. But boy, do the ones who blow it, along with some second-tier songs from Jim Steinman, render this one of Hill's weaker efforts. Original score 3 out of 5. That's Nick Rogers from the Midwest Film Journal.
And I will say this: when I was watching this, I'm like, that sounds like a Meatloaf song,
right?
And when I did, it was written. And it was a Jim Steinman who wrote "Bad Out of Hell," "Bad Out of Hell" to the albums.
I wasn't mad at the music.
No, the music, even all throughout the whole thing, the different types, the tempo of music for every part of the different parts of the city,
Mhm.
like that. Not what would that be when they were at the Battery? That really not country, but that one band that was playing with the really sexy French chick dancing. That's a favorite part of the movie for me.
It felt a little more rockabilly.
Rockabilly, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. All right, here's a 2021 from Matt Brunson, Film Frenzy. The fact that the dialogue is deliberately over the top, absolutely, doesn't make it any easier to digest. On the other hand, the visuals are pretty groovy. 2.5 out of 4. Oh, that's not bad for a bad review.
It is stellar action cinema that thinks outside the box, and it's worth watching again and again. No rating, but it's from Felix Vasquez Jr. from Cinema Crazed.
Frederick and Mary and Brewster, spiritually and practice. Sounds like this is not their type of film. All sound and fury signify nothing. 1 out of 5. There's bad reviews here, but there's nothing written.
Yeah,
here,
so. I see that. The movie is right on the rock and roll, but the alternative time and place are mysteriously convincing, especially if, like me, you believe the most beautiful post-war American cars were Studebakers. Original score 3 out of 4, and that's Roger Ebert from the Chicago Sun-Times.
Wow. Eric Lurio, Greenwich Village Gazette, the first feature-length music video, and not a very good one at that. 2 out of 5.
I'm confused by this one, but this is Nell Manow, movie mom. She's listed as a top critic, but listen to this review. Unsuccessful, but very striking. Original score 4 out of 5. I'm like,
maybe
I don't
she meant
know
it was a box office failure, and it's
maybe,
but
it is very striking. But she seemed to have loved it.
I'm out of bed.
I think we
say a
covered
couple
enough.
more. Okay.
No, we covered enough.
Let's go to IMDb, the voice of reason. .7 out of 10.
That's pretty high.
Yeah, for 26,000 viewer reviews. I will start at 10. No. Yeah, I'll start. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. You start at 10.
I'll start at 10. I'm going to mark that down. 10's always. Why are you working? There we go. The movie of my childhood, or the comic book action story with style. Madigan's 10 out of 10.
Ahead of its time, but lasts as the quality is rediscovered. Shadow Post, 9 out of 10.
Surreal new wave cult movie. Cratcham, 8 out of 10.
Wonderful adventure in comic book style with attractive images and pulsating rock soundtrack. From Ma Courts, 7 out of 10.
A culty cult movie. Yeah. Gavin 6942, 6 out of 10.
Listen to the soundtrack instead of watching this movie. Rom Kev TV 17, 5 out of
10. How did anyone like this movie? Rain Fluke, 4 out of 10.
Famous actors we love in a simplistic, cringeworthy plot. Plato 42119, 3 out of 10.
No dance numbers, but at least Bill Paxton. I don't need your junk. 2 out of 10.
Stinky baby diarrhea in incredible proportions. Bob Zerunkel, 1 out of 10.
Yeah. And it wasn't an R-rated movie. I actually also read that he decided to have no one die. And no blood. There might have been a little blood at the end. But throughout the movie, there was no blood because he wanted that. They wanted that PG rating. They want as many kids to go because of the rock and roll. To go. So it was PG. It wasn't very long, an hour and a half. I didn't feel it. I wasn't looking at my watch. It wasn't like that. but
No,
yeah.
because this movie was confounding.
Oh,
Like throughout the entire thing, you're like, I have no idea what's coming next.
and who
By the
was
time it
that?
ended, I was just like, what?
I meant to go back. The sister, Deborah
Yes,
Van Valkenburg.
she
She's been in tons. Oh, she was in The Warriors.
tons.
That's right.
She was also on. I knew her from TV.
Days of Our
That
Lives.
was
No,
Too Close for Comfort. She did
that's not.
that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh God, what was some of the other stuff she was on? I think she did a lot of like late nights, not late night, but primetime stuff.
Yeah.
She was on Quantum Leap, Too Close for Comfort. Where was her? She was on Days of Our Lives, but I don't remember her from
Oh, she was one of the daughters in Too Close for Comfort, wasn't she?
Was
Is
she?
that her? I don't know.
She might have been.
Very familiar. Like as soon as I saw her, I'm like, I know
Or she
you.
might have been a mom.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I'm pretty sure she played multiple moms on multiple shows. And I feel I'm double checking right now, but I'm like, I could have sworn I saw her on an episode of Murder, She Wrote. Oh, she was on an episode of Cagney and Lacey,
Oh, there you go.
which is probably also, and MacGyver. She did an episode of that. Picket Fences, which I really loved. Love that show. Quantum Leap. Star Trek.
No,
Deep Space Nine.
she was the daughter.
Oh, was she?
She was the black-haired daughter, and the other one was the blonde daughter. Too Close for. Actually, I remember liking that show.
I remember liking it too, but I haven't.
I really remember
thought of it
liking.
in
What
there.
was his name? The gay neighbor. He was friggin'. Ted Knight was funny, but Monroe
I think so. Hold on.
or Jim. Here we go.
Oh yeah,
Jim
you're
J.
right.
Bullock.
That was a daughter.
He was awesome.
Oh God, he was so good.
Yeah, he was funny. He's really funny.
He was.
I remember liking the show. I don't know if I'd like it now, but yeah.
I mean, you never know. You never know. I'm rediscovering a different world right now, so.
A different world.
Yeah, I decided to do a rewatch, and I was like, "Will I still like this?" Like, I remember loving that TV show, and so far, yes, I do love it. So, but yeah, as soon as she popped up, the sister, I was like, "I know you. I've seen your face so many times." That was
All right,
the
so
entire movie.
We did the ratings, box office. Let's go. Last week we did our sneak peek trailer watch where we predicted whether or not we're gonna like this movie or not. So let us watch that as I get it. And then when we come back, we will review it.
Mm-hmm.
Roll it might this year so far. We have not really had a movie. Hey, this might come to a screech
you've ever seen before.
We're on a roll. It might this year so far. We have not really had a movie. Hey, this might come to a screeching halt for our next movie. I think I made a mistake. This might be a Steel Dawn mistake.
Wait, this is another movie that I have not seen, but you remember loving.
This is a Jimmy pick, but it's by a director called Walter Hill. And Walter Hill, for those that don't know, has made some of my favorite movies as a child. He has made, let's say, Trespass with Ice Cube, Ice-T, and what's his name there? Sorry. It's the one where they go searching for the gold in the house. Will Paxton and William Sadler.
Okay.
Bill Paxton, sorry. Great movie. He also made 48 Hours.
Okay, yeah.
He also made Last Man Standing with, oh my God, Die Hard. Bruce Willis, Jesus Christ. Crossroads with Ralph Macchio. Brewster's Millions with John Candy and Richard Pryor. He made The Warriors, one of my all-time favorite movies. That's the gang movie.
I have not seen that since the early 90s.
He made a movie. He made Extreme Prejudice. He made Red Heat, which we have. He's made a lot of great, iconic 80s movies and 90s movies. This movie, I think I may have made a mistake. And I remember as a kid watching this and liking it, I think.
Oh, Lord.
And let me give you a little bit of history. For some reason, when I was a kid, like this movie has Diane Hill, Rick Moranis, Willem Dafoe. It has, and it also Bill Paxton. tons of people, but also stars Michael Pare. And when I was a kid, my mom and dad and my aunt and uncle, like the aunt and uncle that did everything with us type thing, watched movies, loved Michael Pare. I remember the Philadelphia Experiment with Michael Pare, where they're in the 60s or something and they come to the 80s. They time warp to the 80s on some sort of war movie. They loved Eddie and the Cruisers, the rock and roll movie, and they loved this movie. Michael Pare was huge for a little bit in the 80s. I think this is a musical. Not 100% sure, but I think it's a musical. And it's a gangland musical, I think. And I just remember liking it, and then the more I looked at it, I'm like, might not. I might not like it.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
So there is a special edition on Shout Factory. Shout out to Shout Factory. So let's watch. You've never seen it.
I've never seen it. I don't think.
I remember it's Diane Lane is a rock star. She's kidnapped by this weird gang leader, Willem Dafoe. Michael Pare, I don't know if he's hired to go get her or he's the boyfriend, and they go into this gang area that no one goes into to try to retrieve her. Sounds cool. But I don't. It might be cool.
Maybe.
It might not be. All right, so let's take down the banner. Let's share the screen. Let's watch the trailer and then make our predictions. All right, there it is. All right, ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this.
I'll be coming for her, and I'll be coming for you, too.
Sure you will, and I'll be waiting.
You are about to enter a world unlike any you've ever seen before, where rock and roll is king. The only law is a loaded gun, where the beautiful,
Stay and see the show. It's really good.
the brutal,
I want Tom Cody.
and the brave all meet
From now on, it's for real.
in Streets of Fire.
You're lying in your bed and on a Saturday night, you're sweating buckets and it's not even hard. But your brain has got the message and it's sending it out to every nerve and every muscle you got. You've got so many dreams that you don't know where to put them, so you better turn the fuel on blues. Your body's got a feeling that it's starting to rust. You gotta rev it up and put it to use. And I don't know how I ever thought that I could make it all alone. When you only make it better, then it's better be tonight. I'll be there for you tonight. And if you don't have anywhere to go, you go down on the pedal and you're ready to roll. Even if you don't have anywhere to go, you go down on the pedal and you're ready to roll. That must be all you'll ever need, all you'll ever need to know. Darling, darling, you and me, we're going nowhere slowly. And we gotta get away from the past. There's nothing wrong with going nowhere, baby. But we should be going nowhere fast. Everybody's going nowhere slowly. They're only fighting for the chance to be last. There's nothing wrong with going nowhere, baby. But we should be going nowhere fast. It's so much better going nowhere fast.
Now, from the creators of 48 Hours, Universal Pictures presents Michael Pare, Diane Lane, Rick Moranis, and Amy Madigan in a Walter Hill film, Streets of Fire.
Wow.
That trailer was mostly song.
It was almost all song,
Yeah.
like a music video.
Yeah. Yeah. A little concerning.
It wasn't
Little
the
bit.
high action gang movie I was thinking in my head. And as I got closer, I'm like, oh no.
See,
This
but
is-
when I saw Michael Pare, I was like, oh, I remember him.
he was great. And he's
Yeah.
still
He's still
working.
acting a lot. Yeah.
He made a
But
great werewolf movie in the 90s, and he made a great movie with Michael C. Hall. Was that the kid from 16 Candles
Yeah.
and Vacation? Yeah, about an actor that wants to do like a Top Gun movie,
Yeah.
and he goes and trains with actual Top Guns, and Michael C. Hall is the actual actor, and Michael Pare is the actual Maverick guy.
Nice.
But this movie, I mean, Elizabeth Daly is in this, and if you don't know who that is, she played Dottie from Pee-wee's Big Adventure,
Mhm.
the little girl that liked Pee-wee Herman. Bill Paxton, Richard Lawson, Amy Madigan, I forgot was in it, Rick Moranis, Willem Dafoe,
Yeah.
Diane Lane, and Michael Pare is a very good. I really liked his movies as a kid. Mostly like my parents were watching it, so we had to watch it. But yeah, so I don't
It
know.
was funny though, because when you see him in this trailer, I was like, okay, either I have seen this movie, or he dresses like that and holds a very large gun in another movie.
In another movie, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I'm confusing, but I do not remember watching this movie ever, and I feel like I would have. So I'm very intrigued to see what this movie is, especially since you now have a suspicion that it might be a musical.
Yeah, I think. And with that trailer, this is the first time I watched this trailer.
Yeah.
It looks like it. Music it obviously plays a big role in this
Yes.
movie.
I am very interested to see what the soundtrack is like.
It's either going to be really cool, nostalgic, surprisingly gang, because William Dafoe is awesome. I love William Dafoe. And it's going to be kind of cool, ahead of its time type thing, which is great, or it's going to be really bad, which is also great.
I do enjoy a really bad movie, so
I'm very, this isn't the clear-cut Mad Max action-packed movie that I thought it was. This is a very music-heavy, but there does look to be a lot of action, a lot of bikes exploding and people getting shot at and punched in the face, probably by rocking out. I don't know. We will find out.
I'm excited to watch this.
Yeah, me too. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it. This might be a hopefully find it stream or at least rent it before I
I think that's a good
buy
plan,
it.
my friends. That's a good plan. That's a very good plan.
All right. So when we come back next week, we will take a look at Streets of Fire with Michael Pare.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And now, on with the show.
Oh, every time. Nope, too hard. There we go. I do that every time too. All right. You watch Streets of Fire.
Yes.
I watch Streets of Fire. What's your initial thoughts?
This movie is weird.
Yeah, to say the
Fucking
least.
weird. It's so like, okay, here's the thing. It is weird. It is fucking weird, and it's a little confusing, and it feels like, okay, it feels like they took a musical in theater, put it on film, but then changed all of the songs to dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's the weirdest vibe, but I'm like, this would make a really great like actual musical where they sing the dialogue.
I actually thought the exact same thing. I thought this should be on Broadway or
right?
Yeah.
Like you don't have to actually change anything about it.
Put in a couple more lyrical songs and that's it, you're done.
Well, you could literally like conversations, or when people are describing, you could just have them sing it, just really short songs. They don't have to be, not every song needs to be, like 4 minutes long.
This would probably be an amazing musical.
It would be an amazing musical. amazing. And I'm just like, but it felt like that adds to the weirdness.
Yeah.
Because also you can't pin down the time frame.
No, it's actually said to be in a dystopian future.
The fuck?
Yeah.
I did not get that.
Nope.
But now I kind of do, but don't. Because I'm like, what dystopian future? Are you like, is that a magical typewriter that the
Yeah.
sister writes the note on that he gets it and then shows up like a day later? Like, what is happening? This movie is so fucking weird. But I liked it.
I did not like this movie.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure or so bad it's good.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, it's 90% of the dialogue is one-liners.
Yes, and
Rick
terrible.
Moranis only speaks in one-liners. Some are good,
100%.
some are silly, some
But all of them are taglines.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
every single one. It's not even just a one-liner. They're all taglines.
Yeah.
They're all Rodney Dangerfield, like.
That's what Rick Moranis came across as.
Yes, 100%.
Take my wife, please.
Yes.
I get no respect, that type of stuff.
Yes, but it's not that far off for everybody in this movie. They
No.
all kind of talk like that. And it was the weirdest vibe. I'm not mad at it. I don't know how much I love it, but I'm not mad at it.
No. From the 50s diner and
the 50s diner where Reva and the other like staff are dressed like it's the 80s.
Yeah.
But then the minute you walk outside, they're all driving Studebakers and they're dressed as if it's the 1950s. But then you see Ellen singing on stage. She's
80s.
dressed like it's 1980.
All
but
the men's haircuts are 50s.
Yes, but because there was a weird time in the 80s where the 50s was super popular. So
Yeah.
you had a lot of guys with like the pompadour hair or girls wearing skirts that felt very like poodle skirt-esque and the cute little like sweater sets. Like, so I was like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
Now you say it's a dystopian future, and I'm like, what the fuck?
From
that was not
that
even one of my options.
meatloaf rock and roll to the rockabilly to this movie was never quiet. What's that? The black group. What's that? Acapellas, that acapella singing.
Oh God, I forgot it started with an S.
And that's like, I don't know if that's 50s or 40s.
Most of it was from the 50s.
50s, okay.
Where you had a lot of like, it was like the Motown kind of R&B, where you had a lot of male singing groups. There were some white ones. We're not going to deny that they existed, but a lot of them were black.
Yeah.
And they were fantastic.
Maria Jahan, Torchy's dancer, the stripper in the club for no apparent reason.
Right?
Which was one of my favorite scenes. I could have watched her dance all night. Oh my God.
She had a dancer's I was like, that is a professional.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like
that was a dancer's body. I was like, that girl trained. I was like, deep in my soul, I was like
1 ounce of body fat on that woman's body.
Very great movement. I was like, I wonder how many years she trained. And I bet most of those years it was in ballet. Like 100%.
And she was not wearing a lot.
No, she was wearing a G-string, a fishnet like body stocking, and a t-shirt that she took off at some point.
She was actually the dancing double for Flashdance. She is the actual dancer that dances in the dark and then pulls the thing and the water comes down on her. That's her.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I liked it. To my degree of liking it, it's hard to pinpoint because I'm not like on, because at first it was in another time, another place. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And they're like a rock and roll fable. I'm like, oh no.
Dude,
it is a musical.
My very first note was a rock and roll fable ? Exclamation point question mark.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
And then the Meatloaf song, and there was not 1 second where there wasn't music being played.
Yes, and the soundtrack of this movie,
oh,
hands down, I love.
Yeah,
love it. No question about it. Give
I'm
me a
wondering if
CD of it. I love it.
I wonder if Shout Factory has an option to just watch the movie with just the music.
I'm
Because
sure.
the dialogue really doesn't do a whole lot. You kind of understand
No.
it's a very, and what I meant by a perfect movie is good guy, damsel in distress, bad
Yes.
guy, big kidnap, act 1. Act 2 is the adventure to go into get her. Act 3 is the standoff between Raven and Cody, and
Yes.
it's on paper. It's perfect.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
the movie itself is not perfect. I mean, Witness
No.
is like a perfect movie on paper and on film. This is not that, but yeah, I didn't hate this movie.
I didn't hate it either. And it's so funny because like after I finished watching it, I was like, I like it for its ridiculousness.
Yeah, it's like
I like it for its
so
ridiculousness.
over the top on every level.
Everything is just so extreme and weird and like illogical but logical at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you're watching it and you're like, okay, if you were to write that out in other language, this would be a perfectly logical reaction to something. But the way they're saying it makes no sense. This is the weirdest movie.
Michael Pare, I read an interview about him and doing this movie, and this is one of his first movies, and you can kind of tell. He did Eddie and the Cruisers. This isn't Michael Pare's strongest performance.
No.
Not at all. Some of
No,
his
he was
lines are clunky, and he was not the standout in this movie. He was great. I mean, for the ridiculousness, and he looked great. But he also said that he did admit that it wasn't his best performance. Him and Rick Moranis didn't get along, and he said he was a comedian. He always made jokes, and he was always making fun of them, and it was pissing him off. And he goes, "I just wasn't in the business long enough, and I wasn't as clever as Rick Moranis, so it got under my skin." He said Walter Hill he's a great guy, great director, but he's tough as shit. If you even look at him, he looks like a cowboy from like the back in that era. And he goes, someone had like the love scene. He wasn't used to doing a love scene with Diane Lane. It was very awkward to him, and he was afraid to approach the director because he said this director was like, "Don't fucking ask me. You're an actor. I'm a director." So someone produced Joel Silver, mega producer. He produced this movie, went and told him, "Please go and tell this young actor, can you fucking direct him through this?" And he goes, "That's probably why I've never worked with Walter Hill again, because I pissed him off." But yeah, no, everyone was great in the movie. Like everyone was a standout in some capacity, not always good.
You remember everyone, and it's really funny because even like the background actors or
like
the small bit
bikers?
parts, the bikers, the cops, who you only see for like one line, and you're like, what the? But you're making this clear, and you're like, it's one of those things. Like it's so. Because in the theater, when you write like a play or something, you get there's a lot of subtext with every line because you're trying to get people as emotionally involved as you possibly can. I feel like this movie was written like a play, as opposed to a movie, and the play in this movie is there's so much subtext you don't know where to look because there's so much in this movie. There's like subplots of romances, and then there's the weird subplot between Billy Fish and Ellen, and what is up with that? It feels very transactional. And then Raven, the fuck is up with those overalls? The fuck is that? And
it did make him look even weirder and creepier than he
but for
already
some
did.
reason I'm like, okay, objectively those overalls are weird. On him, they're not weird.
No, they look, it's like that.
It looks
that makes
perfectly
sense.
normal, and you're like, yeah,
That
no,
tracks.
100%. Yeah. This movie is a confuzzlement. That's
yeah, to say the least. All right, well, let's go through this movie. All right. In Richmond, a city district in a near future dystopian time period that resembles the 1950s, labeled Another Time, Another Place. Ellen Aim, lead singer of the rock band Ellen Aim and the Attackers, has returned home for a concert. The Bombers, a bike gang from another part of town called the Battery, led by Raven Shattuck, crash the concert and kidnap Ellen. Yeah, so that's the beginning of the movie. She's doing the Meatloaf song. the bombers come in, and there were like we said, the extras.
That theater was full.
That was a lot. That theater was full, and there were a lot of bikers coming down that street, like a lot of them.
A lot of bikers coming down the street. A lot
Not
of
like
people
a
in the
dozen, not
streets.
like a couple dozen, like dozens. Like it really made it,
Yeah.
it made it look their whatever you want to call this dystopian alive. Like it was an actual city, even though it only took place at a diner in some shithole called the Battery. And maybe a bar and an apartment, but not a whole lot of
That's it. There's
cinematography
the
going on.
diner, there's the bar, there was the inside of the theater for a hot second, and then it was that same street.
Yeah,
through
that one
everything.
street for
That
everything.
one street.
Witnessing this is Reva Cody, who telegrams her brother Tom, like you said, the day it didn't take him long to fucking get home.
Well, it was funny because I said, is that a telegram or is that a typewriter?
Or a
Like, is it
letter,
a letter or is it a telegram? Because it wasn't following the telegram like rules. There was no stop. There was no, it was
No.
just, it had an actual address. And I was like, what the? And it said, nobody says, Dear Tom in a telegram. It should be, if you're going to put Dear Tom, which you wouldn't, you would put Tom, stop. Because you pay per like letter, I think.
Yeah.
Per character you pay in a telegram. So I was like,
Yeah, you wouldn't get too wordy.
and you wouldn't type it yourself because
And you wouldn't type it
I
yourself.
was like, what the hell is going on?
But it's a
And he showed
dystopian
up-
future, so maybe it's something different.
Maybe it's a magical typewriter that immediately sends the message to his magical typewriter.
Yeah,
and that's how they.
She was
communicate.
typing at her house, and it was coming typed out at his place.
100%. Because I was like, how is he getting there the next day? I'm confused.
Tom, an ex-soldier, and Ellen's ex-boyfriend ask him to come home. Upon his return, Tom defeats a small gang of greasers and takes their car. Reva tries to convince Tom to rescue Ellen, but he refuses. Tom then goes to a local tavern, the Blackhawk, where he meets tomboyish, fucking mechanic and ex-soldier named McCoy, and lets her stay with him and Reva. And that night, Tom has a change of heart. He looks at a picture of Ellen, and then he sees the concert that he was never at, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go get her."
Black and white picture of Ellen.
Yeah, like those World War II.
Yes, it was like a World War II sweetheart like photo, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "When the fuck is this? Did he go off to war?"
I missed that piece of ass. I'm gonna go rescue her.
That was the most.
It was so dumb.
I was like, I don't understand this love story at all. Because there's not even a moment. God bless Michael Pare. Nobody's blaming you for this. This was very early in your career. But there was no like recognition in his face.
No, you could have shot like just a scene of them when they used to date at the diner.
Anything. Give me any. But I was like, but also like it's like Ellen was taken. Nothing. Like no concern, no nothing. And I'm like, dude, do you even give a fuck? But then he takes out that like 1940s I'm off to war sweetheart like portrait, and I was like, okay, you care?
I would have bought it more if you like was remembering banging her. It's like, oh yeah, I will save her.
And Bill Paxton was playing Clyde the bartender. This is where we meet him, and I swear nobody plays a better super hyper happy bartender than Bill Paxton.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
which pissed off McCoy. McCoy pissed off Clyde. Clyde pissed off McCoy. They hated each other, but then Tom was there to drink with McCoy, and then they become best buddies. And I thought she was a lesbian because she told Tom, "You're not my type," or I think she told Clyde, "You're not my type." She told somebody, and then all of a sudden she was all like, "Yeah, I'd bang that," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I thought she was a lesbian too, and then she's like, I'm like, she wasn't hitting on Cody.
Yeah,
like that's Michael Pare, like he's the hottest guy in the movie. What's going on?
He was super hot. So I was like, what? And like Clyde, I get it. Clyde the bartender,
he's kind
he
of
was
goofy.
missing teeth. He was goofy. I'm like, I get it. You don't want to tap that. But Cody.
Tom, yeah.
I mean,
he holds that shotgun. Come on. Rides that motorbike.
Yeah, objectively, he is a very attractive man, and he has a very fancy car that he stole from the greasers that he beat the crap out of because they were messing up his sister's diner. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
What were they doing? Yeah.
Yep.
So I was like, dude, I'd tap his ass. Like he seemed very attractive right there. all with the gallantry and they have things in common, like the soldiering.
Yeah.
Also,
Good.
I think it was very rude of him to invite her to stay over at his
Without
sister's
asking his
place without
sister?
asking. But I like how he just
I
like
was
wanders
wondering
into
that
her
too.
room. I was like, where the fuck is she gonna sleep? He wanders into her room, and he's like, by the way, I invited a friend home. She's gonna sleep on the couch. Thanks. And I was like, what the? Especially if this is a dystopian future.
Yeah.
Like, what? Why are you inviting strangers?
That night, Tom has a change of heart and agrees to talk to Ellen's manager and current boyfriend. I didn't think they would be together, Billy Fish, about rescuing her.
I did not think so either. I did
Talk
not
about a
realize he was a
mispairing.
boyfriend.
Diane Lane. I love Rick Moranis. He has made some of the funniest movies, SCTV, all that shit.
Yes.
But Diane Lane and Rick, it's not a...
Look, I was not surprised once I met Billy Fish.
Yeah, as the
Because then I was
manager.
like, I get it. He's one of those creepy managers
Yeah,
who's like, touch, feel. I'll make us more money.
yeah.
It's us against the world. I was like, man, this is
Yeah.
like a cult.
Oh yeah, like I'm good for you, buddy. Like, tell me your secret.
I
Like,
am Diane Lane's super hot.
yeah, like yeah, she is. Yeah, she was 18 when she did this. They thought she was too young, but when she did her audition, she committed to the rock and roll thing so hard that Walter Hill was like, yeah, okay, because they wanted Daryl Hannah.
Really?
And they didn't even want to look at Diane Lane, but the I think his soon-to-be wife was her agent, something along those lines. So, and then she showed up to audition, but she came in leather. She came in like looking, did her hair up and committed, and they were like, yeah, she's it.
See, I'm trying to picture Daryl Hannah.
Yeah, not like,
And
no.
I
like Daryl Hannah, don't get me wrong.
I love Daryl Hannah, but I don't feel
not
like
in
this would
this.
have been,
No.
but so interesting.
But it's not like she sang the song.
Well,
She's
no,
just
true.
lip-syncing.
But literally, when I was listening to it, I was like, "Who is singing the song?" Because they're very good, and it was like Liz Sargent, if I'm not mistaken. And I was like, "Oh, you're so good, you're amazing." But also, Diane Lane is 60 years old. She just turned 60.
Yeah, she just turned 60
like 2 months ago. Super hot still.
Yeah, she
like
is still hot.
incredibly attractive. My God, that woman looks amazing. But anyways, just thought I'd throw that out there.
She looked hot in this movie.
She's been looking hot.
Yeah,
for like
I guess she's never not looked hot.
She actually more than 40. Yeah, 40 years. She's been hot for 40 years.
Yep.
God bless.
Bitch. That night.
I'm still waiting for my 40 years to start because
Yeah,
it
that's
ain't
what I
never
mean.
happens.
I hate when people are like that. Fucking... That night, Tom has a change of heart. Yeah, okay. So when Reva and McCoy go to the diner where Reva works, Tom acquires a cache of weapons, including a pump-action shotgun, a revolver, and a lever-action rifle. Tom meets Billy at the diner, and Billy agrees to pay him $10,000. But Tom also requires that Billy accompany him to the Battery to get Ellen, since he used to live there. McCoy also talks Tom into cutting her in for 10% for exchange of help. Like I said, perfect. On paper, this movie is perfect. It sets up the delivery. Not perfect.
Also, some of the dialogue. Let's be
super
fucking clear.
Not perfect.
Not good. I don't know what they were aiming for.
Fun in a what the fuck did he just say type of
yes, because it's very like cliche 1950s like gangster.
And Rick Moranis. Oh my God, that's all he did.
And he's delivering everything like he's with the Rodney Dangerfield cadence. So I was like, why do you sound so familiar? Why do you sound so familiar? And it took me forever. And then I was like, he's talking like Rodney Dangerfield on stage.
And
I'm
who's
like,
just keeps going. He doesn't.
Everything's like a ba-dum. And I'm like, dude.
And some of it was funny.
Some of it was. Some of it, I was like,
it didn't stop.
This is not the time.
Yeah.
This is not the time for a bum ching moment. Like, and Michael Pare, Tom Cody, God bless him. Every line he delivered reminded me very much, and I'm sorry, but not sorry. Sylvester Stallone in Rocky.
Yes, yeah.
Where he's trying for an emotion, but there is no emotion.
Too much brain damage happened here.
It honestly kind of felt like it. I was like, there's a traumatic brain injury somewhere in here.
That's what are we feeling today, Cody? I feel good.
There, dude.
That's Tom Cody.
Dude.
I'm
No.
gonna shoot and to get that hot chick back.
Oh yeah, and was he making his voice deeper for some lines? And
Yes.
not okay.
Which
'cause
didn't help the acting dialogue delivery at
No.
all.
It also made me question my hearing because I'm like,
I think he was trying to be like tough in those ones
Yes.
and went deeper and then softer when he's or more emotional when he was talking about
but I'm like,
Ellen
dude,
and-
it shouldn't change the baseline of your voice.
No, yeah. Because
One
Rocky
line
made
to the next.
sense.
Yeah,
That was the character. For this, yeah, it didn't work.
there was just I was like, I see, like you want to convey emotion, but there is none there.
No,
It's
no
gone.
emotion. No.
God
Need
bless.
more acting classes.
But
He
that
gets
also
there in years to come.
Yes, he gets there. Not in this movie.
Not in
But
this
that
movie.
also adds to the entertainment
Yes.
of this movie.
Like, oh my god, this is fucking horrible.
The whole interaction between Cody and Fish
Yeah.
is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, I like it, but that's terrible.
Yeah. And then you got some McCoy standing. And again, she is I don't know how many movies she's done before this. I am guessing just on what I've watched. She is a more seasoned actor at this point in time than other people in this movie.
I'm very honestly, she was also leaps and bounds. She did not have a lot to work with. I'm going
No.
to say that about her right now. Amy Madigan, she did not have a lot to work with.
No.
But for what she had to work with, she did incredible.
Oh yeah.
Like I was just like, girl, you got this. So she did actually not that much before this movie.
Oh, there you go.
So she did 4 films: Love Child, Travis McGee, Love Letters, and Places in the Heart, and then Streets of Fire.
And then Streets of Fire. For those
Um,
listening, this is the wife in Field of Dreams. This is the love interest in Uncle Buck. The dark. She's been in. When you see her, you're like, oh, her.
She did do quite a few TV shows. So she was in Chips, Heart to Heart. She did those movies that I mentioned. A couple of them were TV movies. You know, back in the day when TV movies were like a big thing, they still are. There's a whole channel, Lifetime. Lifetime gives us TV movies on Hallmark. God bless. But yeah, so she worked really, really, really steadily.
Yeah.
Through decades. So she is an incredible actor. So she had a
was
little
in
more.
the movie you were talking about the other a couple weeks ago, The Hunt. She was even in
Yes.
that. Yeah. Bill Paxton actually seems to have got the memo.
Yeah.
And he did it. He did exactly what. Yeah, he did it perfectly. He didn't
Yeah.
try for anything more or anything less. He was the goofy. Yeah, he seemed to get what the movie was. Where
He's like,
some of
Clyde
the
the
actors
bartender, dystopian future.
got it.
They're greasers and like bike gangs. Done. Gotcha.
Done.
There's a woman
Get
who doesn't
punched
want to
out by
sleep
the
with me. I
girl.
got this.
Get punched out by the girl. Gotcha. I'm good.
Yep.
And of course, Willem Dafoe kind of got it. He just was the creepy weirdo.
I really think he took this very
seriously.
He took it seriously.
But that helped his character.
It helped his character because his character is supposed to be crazy. Like just like this is batshit. Who runs into a very full arena or theater to kidnap someone off stage? So you've already established this character is batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Like completely unhinged.
And you just have to look at him.
Everything that happens after that, you're like, of course.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Latex leather waders.
Yeah. Walking
without a
through
shirt
fire.
on, walking around with like a pompadour. Yeah, of course. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Of course.
In the Battery, they go to Torchy's, a club. Well, first they meet Ed Begley Jr. We cannot not mention Ed Begley Jr. Came out of the shadows. I'm like, holy fuck, that's Ed Begley Jr. What?
I
the fuck
literally
is he
wrote a
doing in this
note.
movie?
I wrote a note. Hey, Ed Begley Jr.
Yeah,
'Cause
what
he
are you
popped out
doing
and I
here?
was like, hey.
You're not being funny at all. You're just being weird. Which
God
kind
bless.
of
I
is like
love
Ed
him.
Begley Jr.
A side note: have you seen him on social media?
No,
His
last time I
daughter-
saw him was on Modern Family.
I think his
That's
daughter
dope.
has a TikTok and she posts him.
I'll post him
And
just
it
talking.
is the funniest fucking. He has no idea about social media, how any of that works. He's like, I just want to plug in my car and chill in the forest. Like, leave me alone, people. And it's the most amazing thing. He is a darling. He is a darling, and we should protect him at all costs. Anyways, go on.
Club where Billy used to book bands where Raven and Ellen tied up to an upstairs bedroom. Yeah, so Ellen's tied up. Raven comes in and like, hey, want to make this easy? Want to make this, let's we'll fall in love for a couple of weeks and then I'll let you go.
Yeah, he's like, just go.
What are you talking about?
And she's staring at him because like every time he tries to kiss her,
yeah,
she moves away. He's all like, why you gotta make this hard? Like, just make it easy.
You assaulted an arena.
Yeah.
You kidnapped someone.
Straight up
destroyed attacked the police.
Yeah.
And now you want to make her fall in love with you.
Now you're like, we're gonna be in love for a little while.
Yeah.
And I'll let you go.
No sexual assault. He's gonna do this the proper way.
He's like, that's right. Just we're gonna be in love now.
You
right now.
Weirdo.
But it's and then he goes and tries to kiss her again. Yeah. And then she just like and I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
But okay. And then he's like, why you gotta make this hard? I'll come back.
Yeah, we'll talk later.
We'll talk later. It's fine.
And then that's where we get the rockabilly song, which was a great song. They're an actual band. For people that are watching the movie. The dancer. Oh my God. Makes it didn't help move the story forward at all, but I do appreciate it.
But my God, did they shoot a lot of
her
everything
dancing
that happened in the club?
Oh yeah, the
from behind her.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was very distracted because I know it was like, okay, you've got this dancer on like a platform or on the bar, and you're watching the band, but she kept like dropping down, and I'm like, that's her butt. She's like naked. And then they would shoot from like the other side when they were getting the door and like her coming. And then all of a sudden she was taking off her top. And I was like, we're focusing on her a lot. Like she's not just like in the background. She's like dancer. And
I would have been fine if that was the rest of the movie.
I mean, don't get me wrong. She was an incredible dancer.
But even I will give them credit for this as well. They made it feel whatever their world is alive because there were so many people in that bar, so much going on. Even our main bad guys, Willem Dafoe and his secondhand man, walking through and where she was dancing, not really paying attention, and just off screen, made it feel alive.
Yeah,
where some movies they'd have like not as many people, they wouldn't focus on the people enjoying the show, the rock band, the dancer, some people watching the rock band, a lot of the guys at the bar just watching her dance. But yeah, I don't know if it helped the plot.
It did not. It did nothing for the plot.
It did nothing at all. Not at all.
However, it did really well at establishing that was like a real dive bar.
Yeah.
Like it gave you the kind of.
They could have established that in like 20 seconds, 20, 30
They
seconds.
could have. They took a really long time to be
not
like.
The 10 minutes that they used.
That was a lot. It was a lot. And I was like, but I wasn't even mad about it because I was so fascinated with this dancer.
The dancer.
Because for a while, because you don't see her face right away. You just see her body. So then I was like, that is a very slim body, very muscular. And I was like, is that a dude?
Yeah.
Is it a woman? And then you see the front and you're like, it's a woman. Is it a woman or just a very feminine looking man? And I was not enthralled, but I was like, this is a puzzle I feel like I need to figure out because that's how my brain works. I'm like, I need to figure out this puzzle. And then eventually I figured it out by Googling it. And I was like, oh, it's a woman. Okay. But I was like, but was that the message that was supposed to? Now I'm completely distracted about this whole bar scene because I'm like, but what does the dancer mean? Because we spent a lot of time with the dancer in frame, front and center.
And so she doesn't really look like the rockabilly fan.
Yeah, no, not dressed rockabilly, not even sexy rockabilly.
No one in there looked rockabilly.
Nobody looked rockabilly. But I was like, what does the dancer mean? Because there must be a good reason. She's front and center for so long.
Yeah.
There is no good reason.
No.
There is none.
She was dating a producer or the someone high up. And he had
Or
to put her in.
someone was just like, she's hot, she's a great
Yeah.
dancer. Let's put her in a fishnet body stocking and put her on a bar. Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds good. And everybody's like, yeah, no, for sure, for sure. But I was like, see, but this is
That's
note to all
art.
filmmakers. That's not art. Note to all filmmakers. If you're gonna put someone or something front and center in your shot in your movie for a long period of time, you better make sure it has a fucking purpose. Otherwise, crazy people like me are going to sit there going, but why? Why? Why would you do that?
And people like me are I gotta watch that again, try to figure it out and rewatch it. She dances so good. McCoy enters and is led upstairs to one of the bombers, whom she knocks out before holding Raven and some of his gang members at gunpoint. Yeah, so she's like, comes onto the bomber. He goes into the back room with her. He's like, let's do it. And she pulls a gun on him. And then they all think that she's there to rob and take the money because they're playing cards. And Raven is like, she's not here for the money. Meanwhile, Tom creates a diversion outside by shooting the gas tanks on the gang's motorcycles and then rescues Ellen. Tom sends Ellen off with McCoy and Billy in the convertible, telling them to meet him at Grant Street underpass, and blows up the gas pumps outside a bar. Raven
awesome.
Yeah, Raven confronts Tom. This is where we get his fashion and walking through the fire there with the hip waders.
Yes.
Raven confronts Tom and warns him that he will be coming for Ellen and for him too. Tom escapes on one of the intact motorcycles and meets up with the others. Great scenes, like,
yeah,
very like him walking through the fire, and Willem Dafoe looks like a psychopath.
As everything is getting kind of blown up, even the fire, you saw blue flames in there, and I was like, God, that looks great. Like,
yeah,
it was not just like, it was artistic fire, as I like to call it. It looked almost like Greek fire, and you're like, God, that's such a great visual. And then you see crazy ass Raven walking through and you're like, man, that looks cool.
Yeah, it did. It was actually a very cool. Like, he looked cool. He looked like a great villain walking through that fire like that.
Tom going to save Ellen looked like somebody was yelling at him as he was acting what he should do.
Yeah.
Now go up the stairs. Now walk down the hall. Now stop and look. It felt very, God bless. God bless. It got better when he was facing off with Raven and it was like, I'm going to come after you. And he was like, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. See you later.
The group is then joined by Baby Doll, a fan of Ellen's, who warns them that the police are looking for the people who were behind the attack at Torchy's. To escape, the group hijacks a tour bus of the Doo-Wop group. Doo-Wop, okay.
Doo-Wop.
Group called the Sorrels. And actually, they were good too. They were
actually really good.
Yeah. The bus is eventually stopped by a police blockade. Billy tries to get rid of the corrupt police, offering them a bribe, but Tom and McCoy have to resort to holding police at gunpoint and shooting up their vehicles.
That was amazing because Billy is all like, I'll handle this. I know how to talk my way out of it. Yeah, we'll do this. And Tom is like the one who's like, you're going to talk us out of this. And he's like, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. And then he starts talking real fast and sounding like Rodney Dangerfield. And then he goes and hands him over the money. And the cop's like, nah, you offered me too much money too quick. There's something's wrong here. And then proceeded to try and arrest them. And then
the group, along with the Sorrels, ditch the bus and take the train back to Richmond.
The Sorrels were very upset about that.
Yeah, they lost.
And I actually really appreciate that. They're like,
their suitcases of clothing and
don't have my clothes. We don't have any music. We don't have our bus.
Yeah, their instruments were gone.
Yeah.
Raven meets with Ed Price, the head of the police department, and promises him no more trouble if he arranges for Tom to meet with him alone. Price plans on arresting Raven, so he tells Tom to get out of town so as to avoid any more violence. Tom goes to the hotel where Ellen and Billy are staying to collect his reward, but he takes only McCoy's cut and throws the rest back at Billy. As Tom storms out, Ellen follows him and the two embrace in the rain. After having sex, Tom and Ellen discuss possibility of eloping. That was one of the things in Walter Hill's wish list of a comic book. He always liked the older movies where they end up kissing in the rain.
Yeah.
And yeah, they did that.
The kissing in the rain I'm not mad about.
No, the whole lead up, wasn't the greatest acted. Although Diane Lane, for being 18, and I don't know if this was her first. No, she's already done some stuff before this. But yeah, it sounds from the interview that Michael Pare was very overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And Walter Hill is the type of director like Clint Eastwood, where we're going to do one take, so get it fucking right. If we have to do more takes, I'm going to be pissed.
I could see that. It definitely felt like he wasn't, because you can tell, especially with a young actor or a new actor, when they have a very supportive director or a very supportive cast, you can tell on the screen. You can see when because there's like little technical things where you're like, oh yeah, they fucking like blocked the shit out of this scene because everybody's moving so fluidly. They all know what they're doing. Like you can see it. And there are times when I'm like, I feel like he didn't get that kind of support. No. Yeah, God bless that kiss in the rain. We all appreciate it, although it kind of looked like he was trying to suck her soul out of her body. God bless.
Yeah, I would have us kissing Diane Lane.
My big, because when they cut to them in the bed, my biggest complaint, also if they actually filmed like a proper love scene, it must have been really shitty if they cut it out.
If they cut it out.
Yeah, her face is still wet.
Yeah, it wasn't quick.
He's dry. Her face is, I'm like, I understand if your hair is still wet, but her face still had like rain on it. And I was like, guys, you couldn't even wipe her face.
Yeah.
Come on. Couldn't even pretend that they came in and like after they got undressed, somebody ran a towel over themselves. Like, but fine. But yeah, no, it was, I didn't buy the love thing. Like, and that was one of the points of contention. Billy is trying to make it sound like the only reason Tom is saving Ellen was for the money. And Ellen's like, you're only saving me for the money. And then Tom's like, yeah, fuck you. And then he gets the money and then he's like, I won't take the rest of it, but I'll take McCoy's cut. Bye. And I'm like,
yeah, that was one of the stupidest things I've ever witnessed.
I was like, this is fucking terrible.
You agreed with them and then you threw the money in his face.
Yeah, you agreed. Yeah, 100%. I'm just doing it for the money.
Yeah.
Here's the money back.
Talk about sending mixed messages. Jesus.
I am so confused. Are you doing it because you love her or because you want the money?
You could take the money and still love her. Like you did go through a lot of danger to get her.
And essentially it's her money anyways, because it's out of the 10% that she pays her agent.
Yeah.
Who's also her boyfriend.
Price with reinforcements is just about to arrest Raven. This was actually one of my favorite, one of a few of my scenes I did like, but is ambushed by an overwhelming number of bombers. That was a shitload of bikers that came.
Yeah.
And then Tom shows up, Tom Cody, and I loved it when he was going, well, my plan went to shit because they're like overwhelmed, like severely outnumbered with guns. Meanwhile, Ellen is on a train with Tom and McCoy. This was a great scene too. This was so stupid. Believing that Tom is leaving with her, but Tom knocks Ellen and returns to town to confront Raven. So Tom knew that she was going to argue with him, and that's what you should do. If you think your woman's going to argue with you, you punch the bitch out. That's enough of this. You go where I told you to. You need someone there to take their
disclaimer. Neither of us believe that you should punch someone that you disagree with. At least not initially. But I literally wrote a note. I was like, he straight up punched her. What?
I just punched her right in the fucking face. Even I was like, what the fuck? What's going on? That kind of came out of nowhere. He just punched her in the face.
Like, he didn't even try to convince her.
No.
Like, it was just like,
he knew she was going to.
Yeah. He was like, no, I'm not even going to have the fight.
Yeah. There's
I'm not going to give you enough respect so that I could have a conversation with you. Nah. I'm a disrespect you so badly by not even having the conversation that I'm going to double disrespect you by punching you in the face.
Not even giving you the benefit of the doubt. You're going to nag. So I'm just going to punch you in the face.
I don't have time to have an adult conversation with you. So I'm just going to punch you in the face.
That's McCoy's like, yeah, that tracks.
Yeah. She's like, don't worry.
Okay. I'll get her there.
Yeah.
Don't punch me. I'll get her. Whatever you say, Tom.
I was like, the fuck? Did he just punch her? I rewound.
That was a fucking funny. I did laugh. I'm like, what?
I
fuck?
laughed at the absolute
Ridiculousness.
ridiculousness of it because you're just like, what the fuck just happened? So you rewind and you're like, oh my god, he punched her.
I'm thinking like she might not want to fuck you after punching her in the
I
face.
wouldn't.
Think ahead, Tom. Think ahead.
I'd be telling Tom, I'm like, bitch, you better sleep with one eye open because I'm gonna find you.
Yeah.
And when you least expect it for the rest of your life, you're gonna get punched in the face.
Exactly. Going forward, you're always gonna have to be thinking that bitch is gonna
all of a
either
sudden you're gonna turn the
stab
corner,
me,
whooah, right to the
kick
face.
me in the nuts. Yeah.
Yep.
Frying pan. Something's gonna happen. She's gonna get me back one day.
I'd fuck that guy up for the rest of his life. Every single year, without fail, multiple times, I would just pop up out of nowhere from behind counters, from like through doors, windows. I'd just be like, pa, and then walk away.
Yeah, one male punch to a female, that's got to be worth at least 10.
Oh,
10.
it's a lifetime. No,
Yeah.
especially if you're not going to have a conversation. Look, unless I'm trying to steal your wallet, there's no
Yeah.
reason for you to put hands on me.
He could have said, you know what? I think you should go. And she was like, yeah, that makes sense.
You know what? I think you should go. I know, sweetie. Here, why don't you drink some of this water? Like, there's a small sedative. I put some Benadryl in there. Calm her down.
Yeah.
I would have appreciated that more than just this random
Just-
punch
yeah.
to the face.
I think you should stay.
He
Well,
didn't
I
even
want to
wait
go
to have
with
a
you.
fight.
I want to go with you. I tried. I fucking tried to tell her. That's why I fucking punched her. No, you didn't even do that.
It's so fucking weird.
It was
It's
one of
so
the
fucking weird.
yeah. And it was fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Because he just walks away. He doesn't
Like it
even
nothing.
check on her.
Yeah.
He's just like,
Did
punch
she bump
me.
her
Bye.
head?
Nope.
Is she like breathing?
He don't give a good goddamn fuck what happened to her. Not one good goddamn fuck.
Tom and Raven duel using sledgehammers and their fists, and Tom ultimately being victorious. Good fight scene for this weird of a music video movie.
Yes.
It was a pretty good fight scene. It wasn't like, it was well done. It wasn't like the best
was
I've
well
ever seen, but it was,
choreographed.
it was pretty well choreographed.
Yes. Although I will say this, I think it was for that scene. My note was the Foley though. The sound effect.
Some of the sounds were a little off
I
or
was like,
different.
"Oh."
Like
Or-
that.
yeah, I was
sound
like, what
that.
is that sound?
That
What
doesn't
is
sound like
that? But at this point, we've now watched what 100 and like
An hour
how
and 20
many-
minutes at least.
and yeah, an hour and 20 minutes of this movie. So at this point, I'm like, anything could
yeah.
happen. Like a dragon could fly in, and I'd be like, yep, tracks.
Yeah.
100% tracks.
Another chick could walk across the screen and Tom runs over and just fucking body slams her for being
Yeah.
there.
tracks.
That
100%
makes
tracks.
And it was really good. It wasn't one-sided. It was back and forth, back and forth. They were apparently going to have it where Tom stabs him, but they thought it would be better when they were doing it if it was a fair fight and a close fight. And I agree. It was, and the his secondhand man, who's also looks psychotic himself. He's a good actor. He's been in tons of stuff too, where he's like, all right, he lost. Let's go. We're out of here.
Yeah.
That's
I
that.
appreciate that.
Yeah. The defeated gang carries their leader away. Later at a concert, the Sorrells open for Ellen and her band. Tom bids farewell to first old Rodney Dangerfield, Rick Moranis there. And then Ellen, promising that he'll always be there for her if she needs him. Ellen performs on stage while Tom rides off with McCoy. And
Yep.
that is our movie. Yeah. Yeah, it's still ahead of its time.
But what time? What time
Yeah,
is it ahead of?
Yeah,
Nobody
I don't
knows.
know. There has not been a movie like this since. Not that I can recall. I try to put movies that are within the realm. I couldn't think of anything. Like I put Labyrinth up there because of the
Maybe.
music. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, just because Bryan Adams sang that song. I got Dirty Dancing because it's so heavy with the music. Knight's Tale. Because of the music, weird music in that I couldn't think of a movie that maybe if The Outsiders or The Warriors and stuff, but nothing really comes close to being alongside this movie.
This is
an
a genre
original.
in its own.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's
All right. Well, what is your score for Streets of Fire?
This is one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen. And it is not a good movie. But it is not a bad movie either. And the reason why okay, technically it's bad. Like, if there's a checklist of what a good movie has, like good dialogue, doesn't have it. It has great sets,
Oh yeah, great
no
set.
clear story. The story is like, yes, there are very clear plot points and they
Yes.
move the story along, but the actual substance of it, there's no character development. There's no you don't explore anything in this movie, okay? But it's weird. It's weird and it's an experience. I give this movie a stream it because I'm not mad that I paid $4.99 to rent it. I'm not mad. I am a little mad that not that I had to watch it because I do think it was a great experience and I think everybody else should experience it because you will leave this movie like at the end of it, you'll be like, that was fucking ridiculous. I don't know, like, is this the movie they wanted to make? What I need to read the script because what? And I do think this is a movie that you can watch more than once. I just don't think you should pay for it. And I don't think you should. I need to watch this movie another 2 or 3 times to fully like grapple with my thoughts because it's weird, it's ridiculous, it's filled with bad acting, but also good acting and terrible dialogue, but also funny dialogue. Like there's a lot. It's like an onion, man. There's many layers. Many layers. So I say stream it and stream it multiple times. I'm not mad that I paid the $4.99, but I'm also not thrilled that I paid the $4.99 to rent it. So I say stream it. Final answer. What's your rating?
I agree with you. I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure or it's so bad it's good. It's not a great movie, but it's a great movie in spite of itself. The sets are fantastic. The dialogue is horrendous and sometimes so horrendous it's funny. The action, the acting, it's well directed. It's really hard to say. If you remember Streets of Fire, like me, it's probably not going to be the movie to remember. If you haven't seen it since like the 80s or early 90s, it might not be the movie you kind of remember in your head. And I was debating whether or not to say, like, would I buy it? Like, I rented it as well. I'm not mad that I did. You're right. It's an experience and it's worth checking out. The Shout Factory Blu-ray has so many behind the scenes. I would love to watch them. I would love to see, do I want to pay $25 or $20 to do that? I don't know.
I almost feel like the behind the scenes would be worth the $20.
That's what I mean. It would be
like,
worth
not the
watching
movie.
more than the movie.
Yeah.
To see all this stuff, like the making of the music, the making of the movie, because when Shout Factory does a special collector's edition, they go all out. So they have so much material, and that might be worth the money to buy it. I'm kind of, I would say, because I would watch this again. I would, because of its ridiculousness and the what the fuck moments. I'm gonna agree with you. I would buy this if I found it at a discount. If it was the same as a rental, I would buy it. I don't know if I would pay $15, $20 for just the movie. $15 or $20 for the Shout Factory, I would seriously debate it because I really would like to see the thought process that went into this movie.
Honestly, that's what fascinates me the most about this movie. I want to know, how did everybody come to this decision?
Yeah.
Like, who was in the room and was like, yes, this is what we're doing?
Yeah. Yeah. It would. Yeah, exactly. I would love that. Might be worth $20.
That would be worth $20. The movie itself, nah.
And if you tell me that the movie, you can watch it with the dialogue or turn it off and just listen to the music and watch it, that might be worth money too, just to watch.
100%.
So I'm really conflicted. It's kind of like this was a pleasurable movie to watch. If I say to people, stream it, don't go in thinking you're going to hate it. You might hate it. Sorry. Yeah, you really might hate it. But it was a pleasurable stream. I say stream it. If you're into it, like I am, you might look to buying to just get to dive deeper into this ridiculous world. Yeah. So yeah,
This is the most
it's a hard
confounding movie because it's not so bad that it's good.
because it does have really good.
It does have some really good moments in
Yeah.
it, and then it has a lot of really terrible moments in
Yes.
it. And you're just kind of like, I don't know, but it's not. You never feel like it's too long. You never feel bored.
No, no, you're never bored.
You're always entertained through it. So I'm like, I don't
So
know how
maybe
to
it is
feel
worth
about
a
this
buy.
movie.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a really hard one.
Like, I need to watch
pinpoint.
this movie another 3 or 4 times, but also at the same time, I don't want to watch the movie another 3 or 4 times.
And you don't want to spend more money on
I
it.
don't want to spend more money on it because I feel like $4.99 is more than enough.
And right now, I think
However,
$15 is the actual buying.
yeah, and
I
I'm
don't
like,
think it's not worth that.
the movie is not worth the $15.
No.
Now,
You
if
put
they
the
had
extras on top of that.
all the extras, worth the $15 because I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to hear the commentary. I
Oh,
wanna
the
hear
commentary would be. I forgot about the commentary. That would be fantastic.
It would be amazing. 'Cause
Well, we
I
were
wanna
gonna do
hear.
this, but we did this, and yeah.
And that's what I want because you watch this and you're like, who made that decision? Who watched the dailies and was like, we got it. That's the scene.
Yeah. So I say
Who?
stream it. Stream it.
Yeah.
It's an experience if you can find it. If you stream it and go and you're like us, like, oh my God, I would love to see all that. Then I would say, like me, maybe search it out. I wouldn't like it might be worth I forgot about the commentary and the
Yeah.
making ofs and the sound and the music and all that stuff. I would definitely pay $15-20 for that.
Oh,
For
yeah.
all of that together. But it would have to be that. I wouldn't
Yes.
pay that just for the movie.
No.
So yeah, that's a conundrum. Again, we're on a roll. Didn't hate this movie. It wasn't an
Yeah.
experience unlike any other movie I've watched.
It was I'm so confused by
Yeah.
this movie.
All right. And that's Streets of Fire, 1984. Yeah, 1984 was 80s. The 80s were filled with every genre you can think of and then some.
It's a decade of discovery.
Yeah. All right. So now our sneak peek for next week. I cannot fucking wait. I have not seen this movie since the 90s. It is a pinnacle 90s gangster film. And I believe this is one that this is sometime we do a few that you pick, a few that I pick, and then 4 movies where we pick out of 3. And if we pick the same, awesome. If one picks one picks the other, we cancel each other out and we go with the third one. This we both picked, I think, easily.
Yes.
And this is 1990s New Jack City. What do you remember about New Jack City?
I remember because I haven't seen it since probably the mid 90s.
I don't know why I haven't, because I remember loving this movie.
No, I remember loving it too. I also was in a big, like, I probably watched this. I think I rented it, but I would have been probably about 14 or 15 when I rented it. And I remember it being violent, and I remember it being really kind of, if you know how some movies have that like 100% gangster vibe, like you're in it and you feel like you're in like a gang or you're in the mob or you're like, it sucks you in. That's what I remember from this movie. I don't remember a lot of the story, but I definitely remember there's a lot of guns.
Yep.
There's a lot of swearing. There's a lot of just like, and I think it was the first time I ever saw Ice-T act.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. And then soon
And he was just
after
cool
this,
because of his rap. Like,
yeah,
being the
like I
rapper.
listened to him
Yeah.
and his rap for years. I obviously should not have been young little ears and such, but I listened, so I was like, oh, he's acting now. And then I saw him and I was like, oh, he's not bad. Makes sense. Because he wasn't exactly a Boy Scout before he started acting, when he was rapping. but yeah, no, I watched it and I loved it, but then for some reason, maybe it's because it didn't get enough play on TV, or when it did play, it was really late at night. But it was not one of my regular rentals, so I haven't seen it in like 30 odd years.
Yeah, it's been since like the early mid 90s for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember really liking it. Like I thought it was super cool. And I remember really, really liking it. And maybe that's where my love of violence came from.
Well, it's directed by Mario Van Peebles.
Oh, love him.
Yeah, he's directed a lot of good movies. He's also acted in a lot of good movies. It also has Wesley Snipes, who we've seen many times. We've reviewed a few of his things, and I love Wesley Snipes. He's awesome. But it's also, like you said, Ice-T. It's Chris Rock. He plays Pookie. This is the character that he, in his comedy special after Will Smith slapped him, he goes, Will Smith played Muhammad Ali. I played fucking Pookie from New Jack City. It also stars Bill Nunn or Noon. Bill Noon.
I think it's Bill Noon. No. It's Bill Nunn.
Bill Cobbs, Judd Nelson, who I love.
I love him too.
Yeah, it's just full of so many actors. And yeah, I just remember it being really cool because I know it was about, I think Ice-T and Judd Nelson are the cops. Wesley Snipes and company are the gangsters, and they're trying to get them. And it's just violence after violence after violence.
Yeah, there's a lot of violence. And I, as a very young teenager, really fucking love that.
Yes. All right. Well, let's watch the trailer for New Jack City. And then make our predictions.
Living just enough.
Wesley Snipes.
We will own the city.
Ice-T. Alan Payne. Chris Rock. Mario Van Peebles. Christopher Williams. Vanessa Williams. Tracy Camilla Johns. And Judd Nelson.
This is Detective Nick Peretti, big crazy jarhead, motorcycle freak, reject cop just like you, Scotty.
On the streets, there's a fine line between wrong and right, good and bad, between those who enforce the law.
It is a war out there.
And those who break it.
Gone are the days of selling on the street corners, dark alleyways, and the back rooms of some bummy ass bar. We ain't with that no more.
In a city where survival depends on friends.
It's always business. Never personal.
On family.
We gotta look out for one another.
On trust. On loyalty. On power.
Am I my brother's keeper? Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am!
A family out to run a city are up against cops who know its streets.
This ain't business. This is personal.
And this is big business. This is the American way.
City. Oh, yeah.
Not the greatest trailer.
No, it's not the greatest trailer. However, I did used to have the biggest crush on Alan Payne. I used to think he was so adorable.
I like Vanessa Williams.
Vanessa Williams, the acting Vanessa Williams, not the singing Vanessa Williams, who was on Melrose Place. Love her. There were a lot of people in this that I'm like,
yeah,
I know all of you guys.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's more. It's more Ice-T and NWA soundtrack than that soundtrack. But yeah, no, I not the greatest trailer, but the amount of people in it, the fact that I remember, I think I'm gonna like it.
I think I'm really gonna like it.
Yeah.
I think they toned down the trailer to get more airplay.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, I'm just gonna take a look for New Jack City. I believe it's rated R. I hope so. We're disappointed. Yes, rated R, an hour and 41 minutes. It is a crime drama. March 8th, 1991. So
I'm very excited.
yes, I'm almost, because I remember liking it so much. I'm almost tempted to buy it because I think first. Here's a check to see before you buy, because remember I bitched about paying $8 to watch stupid Ski Patrol, which I
Yeah.
didn't hate.
Yeah.
We had a someone who watched or listened to the podcast and saying that they just watched it on Tubi, and I went on Tubi and like, fuck, it's on Tubi, and I spent $8 to rent it.
See, but the
So
thing about Tubi that I hate is
the ads,
commercials.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd rather watch it with commercials than pay $8.
Well,
But
no, I get that.
if I can't stream it, I will, because I think it's on sale on Apple and on Amazon for like $7 or something like that. So if I can't find it streaming, I'm confident that I will pay the extra $2 and buy it.
If you have stars on your Crave, if you have Crave and you have
I just
stars,
canceled Crave.
New Jack
I'm
City
gonna
on
go.
there.
I'm gonna wait a while, and I'm gonna rent it like a month at a time because I like the Righteous Gemstones season 4 is on. I want to watch that, but
Yeah.
I'll rent it in a month or two and do it. Yeah, I'm coming back on all my streaming.
God bless. I still have not done that, but Crave gives me the most random movies where I'm like, fuck yeah, let's watch you. Also, I want to catch up on all my Canadian TVs that they have there, like Letterkenny. I still haven't seen. Shoresy, I haven't seen. They have one called Trades. I'm like, I want to see that. The Pit is on there, but I'm waiting until all the episodes are up before I like binge
It's just that it's $25 a month.
It is fucking expensive as shit.
I'm like, oh my god. So
I get
right
my
now,
money's worth.
I'm down to Netflix, Amazon, and Disney Plus. Disney Plus has not been great for new stuff lately, but the amount of their back catalog with Fox and Disney is so amazing, in their TV shows and the FX television shows that are out. Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, I watch all kinds of stuff on Disney. Like what is it? The fuck. Why can't I remember?
The Bear?
The Bear. On Netflix, I just watched The Residence. That was great. Oh god, what else did I watch on Disney recently that I was like, God, that was so fucking good?
Fargo just showed up on Amazon, I think. Amazon or Disney, the TV
really?
series.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal. I just finished Reacher season 3. That was great.
Reacher was great.
Show.
So
I'm down to 3.
Disney, the movie that I have that Disney has that I absolutely fucking love. Club Dread.
Oh, I love Club Dread. I love Super Troopers, Club Dread. Club Dread is probably their most underrated movie.
100%.
It's so dumb, but
so
dumb. Funny.
So funny. Will Trent on Disney. Super good. Love that. Tracker is a nice, light, kind of entertaining show. Like something when you really want something mindless to watch, you can watch it and be entertained. And then before you know it, you're like, I kind of want to know how his dad did die. Are we ever going to find that out? Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff on Disney that I'm like, oh, they also have one of my favorite reality shows, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Oh my god.
Stupid.
What's wrong with you?
I love me a good reality show that has to do with wives, ex-wives, current wives, future wives. They also have Dodgeball, the Underdog Story, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They have the 911s. Like, there's a lot of really entertaining TV on Disney that I'm like, you pay for yourself.
Yeah, the old Fox TV shows, the FX shows, and the Fox movies alone. Add that with all the Disney, ABC,
all the Disney catalog.
Yeah, and because you got like all the old sitcoms like Modern Family, Home Improvement, tons of them, tons of Golden Girls. Yeah, Disney, like I said, some of their new stuff is sometimes hit or miss. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not. But their back catalog is just amazing to have. So yeah, I'm down to 3. But yeah, I'm confident. New Jack City is like $6.99 or something like. If I can't get it, I will probably pay the extra $2. I'm that confident.
I mean, it feels like a fairly safe bet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not mad about it.
All right. Well, when we come back, next week, we will review New Jack City from 1990. We're back up into the 90s now. And yeah, anything left for Streets of Fire.
No, I think we've said all that we can
Yeah.
possibly say about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for coming back to 1984 and watching Streets of Fire. It is an experience. That's all we can say.
100%.
For better or worse, it is an experience if you watch it, if you remember liking it and watch it again.
Yep.
So, yes, thank you for joining us. And until the next movie we remember liking.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.